AVC, hope everybody's well. I've got a day off. It was my wedding anniversary yesterday, 25 years. So I came working away at the moment, came back last night, had a nice meal out, and so now I'm just sort of pottering around. Recently, in the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to rearrange this room, this music listening room, which is more on that later, and the reasons for doing that. But Bret, Lifeonthis planetblog, has obviously been looking back over some old videos and saw the original room tour, and he asked if I would do some more info on what was in a couple of flight cases which I've got for singles. So in response to Bret's request, this is what is in those boxes. Hope it's of interest. What I would say is I've never been a massive singles collector, and I've picked these up over the years, and I'm not one of the, I hope I'm not a music snob, so in there it's things we like. Some of the singles from my wife's childhood when she was young and bought singles, a few from when I was, but I've picked a lot of them up over later years, and got this sort of long-term ambition, or medium-term ambition maybe, to have a jukebox, so maybe they'll all go in there one day. But it's a mixed bag, I'll put it that way, but I hope you enjoy anyway. Right, so here we are, I've got them both out. It's part of the ongoing reorganisation, but we all know reorganisation means a great opportunity just to get all your records out and have a good flick through. So you'll have to bear with me while I just take the lid off here, so it hinges at the back. Right, everything's in alphabetical order. I'm not going to talk through each one of them because we'll be there must be 150 singles in here, but I'll stop a few relevant ones. So, starting off with Aztec Camera. One of my Roddy Frame has got to be one of the most underrated singer-songwriters in this country. I love Aztec Camera. This is a particularly interesting single. It came out on Postcard Records, and it's just like gold. But the interesting thing is it's actually got inside a postcard, which turns it from being a single worth about £5 to one being worth about 60 if I ever wanted to sell it, which I don't. So that's an interesting one. Then quickly moving through, April Wine, Philip Bailey, Phil Collins, Blancmange, Bananarama. Quite a fan of Bananarama, but that's we'll leave that in the past. I love the picture sleeves, which I pick up when I see them. Blondie, Kate Bush section. This is an interesting one. December Will Be Magic again. Only released in the UK. It was recorded in 1979 but not released until the end of 1980. Didn't do particularly well for Kate Bush because she was at a commercial peak in terms of the charts at that point, I would say, having had Wuthering Heights out. But so it's only available in the UK. Buzzcocks, Everybody's Happy Nowadays, Harmony in My Head. Now, that won't feature anywhere and won't be interesting to anybody except Sheffield Wednesday fans, my football team. Terry Curran did a cover of Singing the Blues. It's absolutely terrible, really, but you have to have it if you're a Wednesday fan. The Cure. China Crisis, saw them at the Cavern Club in Liverpool a couple of years ago. The Clash. That's just an empty sleeve that I found. If I could ever find the single, it'd be great. Duran Duran. My wife's favourite band, Everything But The Girl. Echo and the Bunnymen, Killing Moon, I love that song. Freeze, I Owe You, reminds me of Holiday in 1983. John Fox, Genesis, Generation X, or actually Gen X, Dancing With Myself. Ian Gillan's band. Human League, love those live, absolutely brilliant. I've seen them 5 or 6 times. Right, so that's the H's done, and then on to Icicle Works, Ice House, a band called Jellyfish. Jethro Tull, I like Christmas music, I think I said that before. The Jam. Here's something that might interest Bret. Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart. The trouble is, Bret highlighted with the Joy Division songs, you don't always know what's in the on the single from what's from the sleeve. but that's actually transmission and complete with novelty. I'll put that back in later. Martha and the Muffins, Echo Beach again. That was me being at school. Madonna singles again. I like Madonna. I love the picture sleeves. And I'm going through really quickly here, guys. Sorry about this, but you know, I don't like really long videos myself, so I don't want to subject to other people. And some more that might interest Bret. New Order, Ceremony, and stuff. I mean, I bought that when I was in sixth form. I must have had that 30 years. Another Sound of Young Scotland, that's Orange Juice, Poor Old Soul. Unfortunately that one doesn't have the postcard, which would have made it worth a lot more. Rip It Up, OMD, and Pixies, Here Comes Your Man. What show that one is? Monkey Gone Heaven. I think that was Veloria, I think. Yes, Veloria. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Queen singles, and a Rush single I must have picked up that at a car boot sale. Right, that's that box done, and on to the next. Just flip the lid, and I don't know if that was very well known. It's not that well known in this country. I love this single, Spiz Energy, variously called Spiz Oil and Atletico Spiz 80. They kept changing the name of the band. And then a few Springsteen singles, Be True. In fact, I think I've got 2 copies of that. I love that. Well, it's Sherry Darling, but it's the B-side that I like, which is Be True. So that VC got interrupted there. I don't know if you heard the doorbell go around. Some work done on the house. All the gutters and roof line been replaced. Right, that's the end of Bruce. And this is the interesting thing about this single is it's Magic Fly by Space. Came out in 1977, September. Reached number 2 in the UK. It's a French synth duo. I think they finished recording about 1980. Anyway, this was the very first single I ever bought when I was 14. From Pepper Days, which is a toy shop in Nottinghamshire. Just goes to show you could get records anywhere then. And just going through Rachel Sweet. We've got all the albums. I really like Rachel Sweet. So keep blasting through. What's that there? Joey Sims. Nothing interesting particularly. Shriekback, great band. Soup Dragons, Style Council. A couple of Smith singles there. Squeeze, Susie and the Banshees. My favourite Susie and the Banshees song, I think that is Happy House. I've got a toss up between Hong Kong Garden, I think, and Happy House. Looking through Scritti Politti, David Sylvian and Ruichi Sakamoto, The Skids. Teardrop Explodes, one of the first live bands I saw at Rock City in Nottingham. Keep going through. U2, Ultravox, early Ultravox. Last Christmas, everybody's got to have that single. And getting towards the end through the W's, Mary Wilson, Betty Wright, unfortunately not Clean Up Woman, which is one of the best singles of all time in my opinion. That's a rare thing for me, that is Tom Waits. It's actually sealed, I've not even opened it yet. X-Ray Specs, The Late Polystyrene, and a few XTC singles, Three Wise Men, which is actually XTC as well. I'm getting to the end. And just one last section to show a few various artists. Right, this might be of interest to, I guess I'm just a spud boy, Ottavio. These EPs, I was offered a collection by somebody of records, and when I went they also had a load of EPs. And I was a bit sceptical, but when I got there it was like a gold mine really. and I ended up buying them, and I've always kept them together because this particular batch, you'll see that they clearly are a collection. I just felt they should be kept together like old friends, really. So these are original Beatles EPs, mono, and through. That wasn't part of the collection, I bought that separately. Magical Mystery Tour. Actually, in the collection there was things like Jerry and the Pacemakers, Ferry Across the Mersey album, which has got the Foremost, and Cilla Black and people like that. But this has got a bit of Elvis in here, all original, all 60s originals, in absolutely mint condition. Going through the shadows, just rushing through to the end here because there's a couple of the Shadows, obviously Cliff Richard's band, another pretender to be the English Elvis. Now there's some Roy Orbison. Now that is a pretty rare EP. Books in the rare record price guide at about £70, but I'm sure if I ever wanted to sell it, it would go for more. So it's a bit of a nest egg there. All of these lovely conditions, you can see, and then again ones which are worth quite a bit. If I ever came to sell that one, Frankie Lime and the Teenagers, I'm Not a Juvenile Delinquent, and again Little Darling, the Diamonds. Not a big 60s fan, as you know from previous videos, but some of these. And then finally picture discs and coloured vinyl, things I picked up at car boot sales. Really, I don't really collect them, but I've acquired them, and if I see them for 50p or £1, then I buy them, of course. Another copy of Relax, and that is that. So I hope that was of interest to you, Bret. As you can see, I'm in the process of reorganising this room, but I'll probably do more on that later. Take care, VC, and hope you have a good weekend.